Good morning. Hello, another TV viewer. Thank you for joining me this morning. I am Sunshine, and this is the ABCube method for solving Rubik's Cubes. I've created it, and it's Monday, so I'm going to scramble the cubes and do the corners today. I have many big cubes, but this 7 is my favorite because it turns so smooth. I don't know who made it. Can that zoom in? Oh, but it turns so smooth. I just love it. It's not too fast. It's not too slippery. So we're gonna use that for my big cube. Da 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 da. Good morning. Do 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 do. I will tell you a secret. The universe has a surprise for you, and you're going to be delighted. So come back and tell me what it is when it happens. I will be happy to hear. Good morning. Oh, Wanella. It's Monday morning. What did you do, kitty? Stop that. It's Monday morning, so I scramble my cubes and I do the corners today. I do the corners because absolutely every cube has 8 corners. 8 corners. Even this one. Should I scramble this one too? Every cube has 8 corners. And this method will help you will teach you to solve all of them. All of them. The same way. No memorizing algorithms, no knowing that this is that right is parallel to left prime. You don't have to learn any of those stuff. You just have to pick up a cube and see what it looks like and do one of these two formulas, Formula A and Formula B, and it will solve your cube. No parodies, all done. Gotta tell you, I was so, when I was creating this method, I was so scared. Every time I would hear, I would see a spammer on a Facebook page say, or say, you can solve the cube with just 2 moves. And I'm going, oh no, someone beat me to it. Because I was like slaving away trying to get everything in tangible print, tangible format, so I could copyright it and put it out there on the Speed Solvers site and things like that. And I'm just going, someone beat me to it. And I'd go and look at the video, and it was always just some ridiculous thing, like hold your cube like this and do this thing over and over and over again, and it'll be solved. Well, it won't. But this one works. I'm so happy that I was able to get this out. To do. Good morning. Okay, so just the 4 of us. Let's do this. Quick overview. Formula A is 4 moves, and it brings your active color to the top. For example, if I apply Formula A to the bottom row and the right column, out, down, in, up, it does a bunch of stuff, but primarily it switched these 2 corners. And if I do it again, let's switch those corners back and flip it. If that's what I wanted to do, then I'll move it out of the way and project it and keep going. And keep going. Because after 6 times, it goes back to a start, except for what you've intentionally altered. So, Formula A 6 times will only mess up the cubes that you want to mess up. So, like, for example, these 2. Anytime you have these 2 corners are on the same corners, you can only interchange with corners. Edges can only interchange with edges. Centers can only interchange with centers. So, if you ever have 2 corners, if you have the cube all correct, but just 2 corners that are in the right place, but not flipped the right direction, Formula A will fix that. So you just find a cube that's incorrect. We'll pick this one and do Formula A until that piece is correct. and then we will move it out of the way until we find another piece that's wrong, and we will continue our formula A until it's right, and we did not mess up the rest of the cube. Formula A can also be applied to the middles. I'm going to treat this as one. Move it out, move the space down, move the cube into the space, and the cube and space back up again. That's how you get boxes. Do formula A again. As long as and that works. So that's formula A. Formula B, formula A brings the color to the top, and it does mess up other things unless if they're not solved. But formula B moves 3 cubes around, always moves 3 cubes around, and because 3 cubes is always what you have. So if you apply formula B, is always the top row and 2 columns, and whichever the cube that you want to place dictates what those 2 columns are. For example, if I want to place this cube, then the direction I want it, if I want it to go this way, then this is my first up, and this is my second up. And if I want it to go this way, then this is my first up, and this is my second up. If I want it to go, so edges, if I move in, so outside columns moves corners, and outside in an inner column moves edges, determined by the edge piece you want to move, and 2 inner column moves center pieces around and does not mess up the rest of it. So that being said, let's start. Anyone want to tell me how wonderful their weekend was? All right. Every cube has 8 corners. Not every cube has the same colors, but every cube has yellow. So I love starting with yellow, because yellow is always opposite either the white or the black, depending on which cube you have. Some white cubes have stickers. Most black cubes have white stickers, and not every cube has white on it. Like the void cube I'm looking for right here doesn't have white at all. So we start with yellow. And I'm going to do, regardless of the cube I'm working on, I do the same thing with all of my cubes. And when I'm done, this one will be solved, and these ones will have dictated what color each side's going to be. So let's start. Okay, here's a yellow. And it is, so this is correct because I chose it. I'm going to make the rest of the cube match this cube. So here's a yellow. I want this piece to be yellow. So I look at this piece. Is there a yellow on top? No. Is there a yellow somewhere on this piece at all? No. So I look underneath it. Is there a yellow somewhere on this cubie at all? The answer is no. So before A is going to flip these 2 around, and so for that, in order for that to be helpful, I have to have a yellow in one of these 2 spaces. So I'm going to move the bottom row by quarter turns until the answer is yes to the question, is there a yellow in one of these 2 places? And when there is, then I'm going to do formula A until the yellow is on top. So out, down, in, up. My yellow is up, but not on top. So I keep going, out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up. And yes, this is not the quickest way or the shortest way, and for the first few you could just look at it and intuit it into place. But I'm teaching how to solve every corner. So the first 4 corners, I solve the first 4 corners the same way I solve the second 4 corners, so that I only have to teach one method. So is there a yellow somewhere in this corner? Yes. So formula A will bring it to the top. If I'm in a hurry, I can rotate the bottom row until there's another yellow here as well. Do double duty. So out, down, in, up. Yellow's on top. Great. Move it out of the way. Keep going. There's a yellow. There's a yellow in one of these 2 places. So out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up. Yellow's on top on all 4 corners. That was our goal. If I want to, I can move my yellow piece into the middle there. But if I don't do it now, I can do it later. Okay, so yellow's on top on all 4 corners. That was formula A. I'm going to do that with all of my cubes, and before I move on to formula B. So here's a yellow. There's a yellow in one of these 2 corners. Both of them now. So out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up. There's a yellow. Slide it out of the way, top row. Keep going. Out, down, in, up. Slide it out of the way. Keep going. Out, down, in, up. Out, down, in, up. Yellow's on top on all four corners. That was our goal. Let's keep going, proving that we just do the same thing with all of them. So find a corner. Find a yellow corner that's on top. Look at the other corner. There is a yellow there. And here. Now, so it saves me a little bit of time. Formula A, out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up. Slide it out of the way to protect it. Keep going. Out, down, in, up. Slide it out of the way to protect it. Is there yellow here? No. Is there yellow here? No. We know there's four corners because of the four yellows because of the mathematics. I can say mathematics of the cube. So rotate the bottom until there's a yellow here, here. Out, down, in, up. It's on top. Yay, we stop. Do the same thing here. Here's a yellow. That's not a yellow. That's not a yellow. Rotate the bottom quarter turns. That's a yellow. Out, down, in, up. There we go. Slide the top to protect it out of the way. Keep going. There's a yellow somewhere. So out, down, in, up. Out, down, in, up. Yellow's on top. Slide it out of the way to protect it. Keep going. Out, down, in, up. Out, down, in, up. Okay, so that was the first step for all of the cubes. Second step is each corner has three colors, not just the yellow. So we look at what the other colors are on the sides, on the rim. And either all four of them will match, or one of them will match, or none of them will match. You can't ever have two of them matching or three of them matching. It's either all, none, or one. Orange does not equal blue, but red equals red. Verify that's the only one. So it goes to the behind me. And since they don't match, we're going to use Formula B. Formula B is going to move three cubes around, and if I do the outside edges, it's going to be corners. So slide the top, move first up, reverse the top second up, slide the top first down, reverse the top second down, and it looks like I've messed up my cube, but Formula A will bring the yellow back to the top again in patterns of 2. Slide the top to protect it and keep going. Because we're only moving the top and not the whole cube, whatever happened down below is still going to be the same. I'm not messing up what's down below in case I'm on my last four corners rather than the first four. As long as you're doing A and B, whatever you've already solved is not going to get messed up. So I look now and all of the sides match. So hooray, that was goal 2. Let's do it again. Green does not equal orange, blue equals blue, so we put the blue face to the back. Formula B, up, up, down, down. Now the arrow in Formula B represents the one layer we're moving, and the line represents everything else. On a 2x2, that's easy to understand. On larger cubes, you realize you're just working with one row and 2 columns. So we're going to bring A to bring your yellow back to the top again. Out, down, and up, out, down, and up. Slide, out, down, and up, out, down, and up. Slide, out, down, and up, out, down, and up. Slide. And yes, by all means, you can intuit the cube as much as you can before you start me. But one of the reasons why it's good for beginners, even if you're using algorithms, is because it's easier to see if you can do an algorithm on a solved cube rather than doing the algorithm on a scrambled cube. Then you can see what the algorithm is doing. So you take a solved cube, do the algorithm, see what it does, figure out when to use that algorithm. But this way you can use this method to scramble your cube, to solve the cube, so that you have a scramble if you only have one cube. So you can solve the cube. You can test the pattern, the algorithm, from a solved state rather than from a scrambled state. So this is a good way to reset your cubes to solved if you're speed cubing and if other things. I'm I'm not fast. I'll say that up front. If you see to do, okay, so this one, the first four corners are correct to each other, these two. So let's do this one. Orange equals orange. Blue does not equal red. So the orange side, solve side goes to the back. We do formula B. Top row, outer columns. Slide up, slide up, slide down, and formula A in groups of 2. We'll bring my color back to the top. Slide the top, when it's on top, slide the top to protect it and keep going. Don't rotate the cube because that's going to mess up your bottom, which when it's scrambled you don't care, but as you're getting farther along in your solve you're going to care. So slide the top to keep it out of the way, protect it, keep going. Out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up. And now the first four corners are correct to each other. One more. Blue does not equal green, orange does not equal blue, so the red side matches, it goes to the behind. Formula B, slide up, slide down, top row, outer columns. Now I'm A to bring my yellow back to the top again. I know how to do that because okay, slide the top to protect it, keep it out of the way. Slide the top, keep going. And this works whether you're doing your first four corners or your last four corners, whether you've done the rest of the cube and the corners all you have left, layer by layer, whatever method you're using, the corners are always done the same way. So this one, all of these, the corners are correct to each other for the yellow. Okay, so the next step, now that we've perfected our yellow corners, is we put them down, face down, and ignore them. Now we're looking, same thing, second four corners solved the same way as the first four corners. We're bringing an active color to the top. White is on all four corners, so that's our color opposite yellow. With the ones that are already up, we ignore, and we're working only with this one. So we want to bring the white to the top. We're going to do formula A to bring that to do that. And oh no, we're messing up the bottom. No, we're not. Relax. Okay, white's on top. Move it out of the way to keep it safe and protect it. Don't move the whole cube, just the top. And then keep going for formula A until this one's on top. And because of the mathematics of the cube, it took it with a multiple of 6. The yellows have resolved themselves. They have resolved. The yellows are taking care of themselves. So we've got white on top. Do it again. Yellow down, ignore it. Bring the white color to the top. Formula A. White's on top. Move it out of the way. Keep going. Formula A. And yes, you can do mirrors and reverses and parallels and or any other algorithm you want to do. But if you're just learning, I use this to teach absolute beginners. So white's on top. You put yellow face down, ignore it. White's on top. Bring your white to the top. Formula A. Slide the top. Keep going. We're only working on this cube. Slide it out of the way. This cube. Okay, white's on top on all four corners. White's on top on all four corners. Once again, yellow face down, we're going to ignore it. The whites are here, so let's start with the one that's not white. Formula A to bring it to the top. And we don't worry about the bottom because we're not rotating the cube, rotate the top. Keep going with formula A. And the cube, the yellow, takes care of itself as long as you're doing A and B, because it only moves the pieces you want to move, and it doesn't mess up the pieces that you've already solved. So you don't have to remember which algorithm does what and when to use it in which order, so you don't mess up other things. You just have to remember A and B, and you can pick up any cube and solve it. So white's on top, then on all four corners. Then we check to see if the sides match. Your yellows, you can check on your yellows, so the yellows are still there. So orange equals orange, green equals green. These ones have already matched, so I don't have no action required on this one. We're just going to, so the first four corners are correct to each other, the second four corners are correct to each other. Hi, if you've just joined me, I'm Sunshine, and this is the ABCube method. So we've got the first four corners correct to each other, the second four corners correct to each other, and we just rotate the top row until the top and bottom are correct to each other. And now these 8 corners are all correct to each other. And so these 8 corners are now going to dictate what color each face is going to be. Because when you have an odd number cube, an even number cube, you don't have an absolute center to look at. So this one, all 4 corners are correct to each other. Let's do this one. Okay, yellow, whites are on top. We'll check the sides. Either they all match, one of them matches, or none of them matches. If the side matches, it goes to the back. And we do formula B. Slide up, slide down, using the outside edges, switch on 2x2, that's all you've got. And then formula A to bring the white back to the top again. We don't rotate the cube, only layer by layer. Okay, so when the white's on top, move it out of the way and keep going. More formula A, move it out of the way and keep going. More formula A. Now the second 4 corners are correct to each other, the first 4 corners are correct to each other, so we just rotate the top and the bottom until the top and bottom corners are correct to each other, and then all 8 corners are correct to each other. Like this, these 2 are done. Okay. All right, again, my yellow is correct. I'm not going to mess that up. Whites are on top. Check the sides. One side matches, so it goes to the back. If no side matches, doesn't matter which way you hold it to begin with, you're going to do formula B and A to bring it back to the top, and you're going to look again. This time one of them is going to match. Doesn't matter to begin with. Okay, so matching corners to the back, formula B. Up, down, down, and then A to bring your color back to the top. Slide the top to keep it safe. Protect it. Slide the top to keep it safe. And because you're just using A and B, does not mess up. So now that my second 4 corners are correct to each other, my first 4 corners remain correct to each other as well. They do pseudo scramble, but they always come back to this place because formula B and formula A don't mess up anything what you want to mess up. So second 4 corners are correct to each other, first 4 corners, so all you do is move the top row until the top and bottom are correct to each other. Green does not equal blue, blue does not equal red, blue equals blue. And so these 8 corners are all correct to each other. Last one. White's on top, red matches, and we're only looking at corners. Ignore the edges and centers, they don't matter. So the side that matches goes away from you. It's called headlights. Okay, formula B, slide up, slide down. We just move 3 cubes around. Formula A brings our color back to the top. Okay, now my second 4 corners are now all correct to each other, and they line up with my first 4 corners, so the corners are now correct to each other. And no matter which cube you're working on, the corners are all done the same way. And so this cube then is done, and these ones, like I said, are all dictating what color the absolute center is going to be, or that face is going to be. This is going to be the green face, this is going to be the yellow face, this is going to be the blue face. So this is an odd number cube, so I can line up the absolute center here. This is white, so I'll move it to the white side. Okay, so my absolute center is lined up here. If it's not, or if you don't have an absolute center, you can solve it later without messing up whatever you've done by using formula A. Formula A will bring it to the top. Formula A applied to the center looks like this. I want to move this this green piece up into this space right here. So I move this piece away. I move the cube where it wants to be down. I move the cube into place, and the cube in the space back up again. And that gives you boxes. You'll notice the 3 colors you're working on are the top, front, and right. So doing it again will eventually get me back to start. Or I can flip it upside down and do it again. And so we've got orange and yellow and blue. So front, right, and front, top, and right. So I move this piece away, move the space down, move the piece into the space, and the space and the cube back up again. So A can be used for the corners, absolute center, and it can be used for an entire first space if you want to, first row if you want to. But I don't demonstrate that because I'm teaching newbies, and so I only teach them what they need to know. But you can use A for one face, but it's not consistent. You can only use it for one face. All right, those are the corners. That's by Monday morning. Happy to answer questions, talk to you guys about how your weekend was. Was it a wonderful weekend? Did you go out and have a picnic lunch? Did you meet with family? Did you hug your kids or grandkids? All right, so I will be back here. Weekday mornings is just a quick little step-by-step thing. I'm also here on Friday evenings and Saturday mornings to play around more and show you more fun and interesting things. Novelty item. Do I have a novelty item for today? I showed my Rubik's game on Saturday. This is one of my. This is from the 80s. It says the original Rubik's Cube. It's unboxed, and so I don't have no idea how it turns because it's unboxed. But here's the thing: the way that you know that this was not one of the first Rubik's Cubes made is because it says the original. And the originals, the first ones, didn't have to say original. They only named them, they only said the original after the patent got broken. And people were making copies of the Rubik's Cube. And so the original was a way to say, hey, buy mine, not all the copies that are out there. So this is not a first run, but it is from the 80s. So it's a piece of history. I like that. As is this a piece of history. I like that. You will notice the original, the first Rubik's Cube that I had this color scheme. White and yellow were next to each other. White was opposite blue. This is before people started before we had a standardized color outline, color format. I don't know the word. So originally the white was opposite blue, and when I lost my first cube and got my second cube and white wasn't opposite blue, it confused me for a while. I'm like, I must have remembered wrong. Maybe white was always opposite yellow, but no, it was not. White used to be opposite blue. And so I will put this away. This is, you can hear it. It's very clunky. But there were no finger tricks back in the 80s because Rubik's Cubes were clunky and it took 2 hands to make each turn. So I will put that away now. All right. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for playing with me today. And I will be back tomorrow morning. Bring me your newbies, your non-cuber friends, and I will be happy to play with them as well. I do Start over again, sunshine. I do tutorials as well, and I don't just monologue. I have a Zoom that I can incorporate this Twitch into my Zoom, and we can watch me teach people, teach newbies. I can teach up to 3 to 4 people at a time on my Zoom. So, and if you let me stream it on here, then the tutorial is free. So bring me your non-cuber friends. So if someone wants to learn this method or help me demonstrate this method, then I'm working towards doing that on my Fridays and Saturdays when I have people to teach. So bring me your non-cuber friends. All right. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Go have fun. Be kind to yourself and to one another. And I'll be back here tomorrow. Bye.